Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Chris and welcome to another Max Smell fragrance review. And this is part 2 of how to apply these 5 fragrances to get you some positive attention. Now I would say compliments, but I'm just going to say positive attention because compliments mean they're going out their way to tell you how good you smell. But these are head turners that guarantee if you apply them like I'm telling you to apply them, you're guaranteed to get positive attention or compliments. This is part 2. If you want to see part 1, I will leave it at the link at the end of the video. Maybe some of these fragrances you own and you're wondering why you don't get compliments. But I'm going to tell you how to apply these fragrances by the method of my spraying. And when I say on the chest, I do not mean clothes. I never spray fragrances on my clothes. When I say chest, I'm talking about skin only. And that way it will cover some particular notes of some of these fragrances. Now this first fragrance it's an expensive house, but if you can get your hands on it and find it at discounts, they run probably around maybe $160, $70 if you're lucky. But when I bought this fragrance, I wore it a couple of times, and my method of applications is I go heavy on this because a lot of sprays doesn't make this particular fragrance stronger. It just make it more fuller, if that makes sense. And the fragrance I'm talking about is coming from the house of Xerjoff, and that's Apollonia. Now my method of spraying is I go one behind each ear, one on the front of the neck, one on the back of the neck, and I go about 3 or 4 sprays on my chest. Like I said, it doesn't make it stronger, it just makes it a more fuller fragrance. Now when you first spray this, you're gonna get a lot of the floral notes of magnolia. They're making it very fresh, very clean, almost laundry-like. Then a couple of minutes later, you're gonna get this iris. Now the iris in this is very buttery. Everything about this fragrance is powdery, but the iris butter in this makes it very rich, along with that white floral or magnolia, make it very rich, almost powdery, kind of floral. And then you're getting this nice, very clean musk, making this whole composition floral, powdery, sweet, creamy. It's not your typical powdery fragrance because of that iris butter, but this is definitely a spring, fall, summer fragrance. And in the wintertime, I might add an additional 1 or 2 sprays just to give it that extra oomph. But a very nice fragrance from the house of Xerjoff. One will garner your attention, and I guarantee you, you'll enjoy it. And that's Apollonia from the house of Xerjoff. Now this next fragrance up is coming from my favorite house, well, one of my favorite houses, which is Montel. And I learned how to spray this the hard way. Now when I first ordered this fragrance, I ordered it straight from the house of Montel over in Paris. Back then you could email them, send them your credit card, and they would send you the fragrance. You could add extra oud, and they would give you like a 20 ml sample of any fragrance you wanted. I ordered extra oud in this fragrance. I went to this party and I just doused myself in it, and actually it was too strong. Now this kind of has some similarities to Apollonia from Xerjoff, but this is very thick. This is more richer, buttery, and it's also powdery. And how I apply this fragrance, of course, this has extra oud in it. I go one behind each ear, I go one on the neck. That's enough to fill the room, but this is the one with the extra oud. And the one I'm talking about is white oud. A very underrated fragrance from the house of Montel that no one out there even mentions hardly. But I'm telling you, this is a great fragrance. Now at the opening, you're getting a light touch of rose. In the heart comes sandalwood that makes it very creamy, very powdery. You get some oud that makes it kind of woody. I kind of pick up a light touch of saffron, but it's very light. And the base you're left with amber, giving it spice, vanilla, giving it sweetness, making this fragrance woody, creamy, spicy, and powdery. I love this fragrance. I get positive attention every time I wear it. A very underrated fragrance from the house of Montel. This is definitely a fall winter scent. I wouldn't advise it in the summer or the spring because it is heavy and it will project a beast mode performer, but it's one guaranteed to get you compliments or positive attention, and that's white oud coming from the house of Montel. Now this next fragrance is an oud based fragrance, but it's not skanky, it's not animalic, it's just a very woody fragrance, but it's very spicy with some vanilla undertones. And this one that I'm talking about, I go one behind each ear, I go one on the back of the neck, I might go one on the front of the neck, and I might go 2 on the chest. Now, reason I go that many applications because it does project far, but it's very airy, so it's not strong, but you're gonna get 4, 5, 6 feet from it just wearing it. And the fragrance that I'm talking about is coming from the house of Arabian Oud, and that's Calamite Black. Now, when it's first opened up, you're gonna get this frankincense adding a light touch of smoke. Now, what I really love about this fragrance, you're gonna get touches of basil. They're making it spicy, very green, and it's going to linger throughout the air. So the basil is mixing very well with the frankincense. Then you pick up on that vanilla that adds a very, very creamy sweetness. Then you get oud. But I'm telling you guys, if you want some positive attention, get this fragrance, wear it like that, and you will project. People will smell you, and I guarantee you they're going to want to know what fragrance it is that you're wearing. And that's coming from the house of Arabian Oud, and that's Calamite Black. Very lovely oud fragrance that's sweet, creamy, woody, and it's spicy. I love this thing because of the spice that lingers. Now this next fragrance is a new acquisition to me, and I blind bought it, and I'm glad I did because people seem to enjoy this fragrance so much. And how I apply this fragrance, I go very heavy on it because it's well balanced. Notes are not gonna really stick out one from the other, but it's just a combination of notes. And the fragrance I'm talking about is coming from the house of Sassy, and that's Untouched. Now how I apply this, I go one behind each ear, one on the front of the neck, back of the neck. I go about 4 or 5 sprays on the chest, and you're gonna fill a room, but it's not beastly as in strong, it just performs. Now this is a very cardamom based fragrance. So at the top you get cardamom, bringing a lot of sexy spice, and it lists caramel, but I'm not getting the note caramel per se, but I'm getting a very nice sweet touch to it. You get some musk in the middle of the fragrance, followed up by amber and ginger to add more spice, more sweetness, making this fragrance spicy, woody, sweet, and fresh. A new fragrance to my collection, and I'm glad I did because people just seem to enjoy this fragrance. Very cardamom-based fragrances that has touches of sweetness and spices, making it a very lovely, sexy fragrance. One that will garner attention, and that's Untouched from the house of Rasasi. Coming up next is a fragrance that I add in a lot of my lists to any kind of list that dealing with compliments. And no, I'm not just recycling content. I'm telling you this because this is one of my most complimented fragrances, and it's also my favorite fragrances of all time. Couple of hundreds of bottles that I own. This is one of the best that I own. And how I apply this, I go one behind each ear. I go about 5 or 6 sprays on my chest, one behind my neck. And the reason I spray a lot of sprays on my chest because under my shirt, it brings out a lot of them almond notes, the citrus notes, while taming a lot of that spice. And the fragrance I'm talking about, yeah, I include this in a lot of lists, but it's well worth the price. And you can find this probably $80, and that is Oud Lemon Mint. Now this is one of the most sexiest, fresh fragrances, clean fragrances, citrusy fragrances that I own, that I have ever smelled in my life. Lemon and almond start to show off. The combination of lemon and almond is very sexy. Then you get some of that coriander that adds in spice, like a green spice, aromatic, herbaceous, peppery, slightly citrusy. The heart is followed up with mint and jasmine. Every note in this fragrance is like a harmony. It's perfectly balanced. You get a little touch of earthiness from the patchouli. Amber and vetiver comes in the base, making it slightly earthy, slightly spicy. And then musk comes in to dry down. I'm telling you guys, I just don't put this in my list just to put it in my list. I'm telling you, this fragrance is outstanding. It's citrusy, fresh, woody, spicy. My favorite fragrance that I own, one of my most complimented fragrances that I own. If you haven't tried it, got your nose on it, and follow my advice on how to wear this, I guarantee you, you will love it. Everybody around you will love it. And that's Oud Lemon Mint, coming from the house of Mancera. All right, guys, you know what to do. Come back and see me. Stay safe. Now we'll see you soon. Peace.